Hey y'all, welcome to the Bell and Breakfast Podcast. My name is Gio as per usual, because it ain't changing anytime soon. That's my government. And welcome to the transfer up the date for what are we? 2 days. Had a little bit of brain freeze a while ago. 2 days before the transfer window ends, right? Now, so much is going on. So much is going on. Let me just adjust this here, and voila, we're good. Anyways, right off rip, Liverpool, Ryan Gravenberch. Now, I can't tell you how excited I am about this. If this comes through, because, sorry about that. My club tends to lollygag around transfers in some ways. We're efficient, but we're not efficient. Sometimes we're a little too modest in how we go about our transfers in terms of splashing the cash. FSG model, we know, and we're going to stick to that model. It served us well so far because an unpopular thing to say amongst Liverpool fans right now is simply that FSG has done well. It's our most successful period since the late 80s. So I'm not going to get too hard on them, and I've never been. Anyhow, back to the main story. Ryan Gravenberch looks to be on his way to Liverpool Football Club. Reports coming out of Germany are saying that the fee is expected to be around 27 to 30. I'm thinking a little bit more like 40 plus add-ons. Would be a massive signing for us. Major indications as to what Klopp really thinks about the squad. Now, if we're signing Gravenberch, it obviously means that he does not think either Harvey Elliott or Curtis Jones has a spot in that midfield dynamic. Now, I personally don't believe that Harvey is an 8. He's a 10 at best. But really and truly, where he excelled with Blackburn was off the right-hand side, the Mo Salah position. But where he's going to find a little trouble right now is simply this. Ben Doak is emerging. So major implications predicated on where Klopp is designing his transfer allocations towards. But in terms of profiling Ryan Gravenberch for Liverpool Football Club, Ryan Gravenberch is quite the versatile midfielder. I've seen him with Ajax. I've seen him play the 6 for Ten Hag. I've seen him play, and most of the time I've seen him as more of an 8, and I've seen him as a 10 as well. 8 is his most suitable position as a box-to-box midfielder. Can do a bit of everything. Sometimes has defensive lapses. Sometimes, like what I saw in the Euros, not particularly. I believe the reason why his price range is so low is because of his poor showing at the Euro 21 under 21s. Wasn't particularly happy, and I'm a big fan of Ryan Gravenberch. As a big fan of him from when I was telling a lot of my mates that Ryan Gravenberch, Sandro Tonali, 2 of the top upcoming young midfielders of our generation, and I've not missed the mark on Sandro, and I don't believe I'm going to miss the mark on Ryan Gravenberch. He is upwards of 6 foot. He will grow into that body. Excellent touch. Has played on all the required highest stages in football, namely the Champions League. So he's played against English opposition, so he'll know what type of intensity and physicality is coming from that end. Also, he's a Dutch international from an early age, so he's been exposed to not just the Eredivisie, not just the Bundesliga, but from all angles of high-end football. So that on that front, I am very excited about that. We're also seeing ideas of Piero Hinsipai. I might have capped up his name. Like, I can't tell you that I watch a lot of Bundesliga, but apparently he's a left-footed centre-back, and we do need to start thinking about transitioning from the Van Dijk era. Older, getting to that Sammy Hippier kind of stage in his career. It's only natural. He's still a Rolls Royce of a centre back. His importance to the club is without question. But like all good things, it must come to an end, and we must be proactive in preparing for that particular end. Thank God we didn't get Mickey van den Ven for that transition. Own goal specialist. An own goal specialist. A Spurs, absolutely made for Spurs. Anyways, yes, so that seems to be what's going to round out our transfer period. I really would look on a replacement right back. Although we have, I think his name is McConnelly, coming through the youth setup. He played for us in preseason at right back, that they're looking for him to deputize there. I might have messed up his name as well. But again, youth player. Sometimes I forget the names. Did very well in preseason. And also, we have Joe Gomez that we can deputize at right back. Hence why switching over on Joe a little bit. Why it's pivotal that we don't let Joe go to Saudi Arabia, because we simply need that depth at the back, considering that it seems that Nat Phillips is through the door and he can't play right back. Joe is probably one of the few centre backs that is so versatile. That he can play across most places on the back line. Right. So it is of paramount importance that we keep Joe Gomez. Now, moving on to reports out of Manchester, specifically Manchester United. A real clown show going on over there. Usually when you see a guy go on strike, it's almost beyond the realm of questioning that the linked club will get that player, because the linked club has told that player, listen, force the move, force their hand, so that when we come into the bid, it's very efficient, quick pro quo, radam, we're in. In the words of Peanut Dread, whatever sweet you're going, sour you're raw. Radam! Because Amrabat had offers from Liverpool, approaches from Galatasaray, turned down every other approach, only to hear that Manchester United has come up with a loan option. They don't even want to buy the player. They want him on loan. What a spit in his face for the efforts and the tarnishing of his own reputation. I mean, it's an absolute fast. How dare you make this man ruin his footballing reputation, go on strike, and then put forward such a mediocre approach towards Fiorentina? Absolute disgrace. It's an embarrassment to the club. It's an embarrassment to the Premier League and the standards that we hold. Manchester United should be disappointed. Fans, I know, are at an outrage. And rightly so. It seems to be that Cucurella is coming on loan. Now, whilst most people argue that Cucurella hasn't worked out at Chelsea, but he was very good at Brighton, to me, if I were a Manchester United fan, I'd be saying, have you not learned your lesson? You brought in Mason Mount. There's a reason he wasn't in the first team for anybody's first team over there, whether Tuchel or Potter. Meaning the latter part of Tuchel. Right? And here you are going to take an outcast out of Chelsea once again. Doesn't seem like the right move. But when you are so inept in your transfers, you leave yourself in a desperate position. And that's what they are. And they will desperately have to find some solution for Amrabat. So I do believe that Cucurella and ultimately Amrabat will get through the window, but I can't see where this 1 million loan front and then another million afterwards. It's really just, it screams child's play. Manchester United is child's play on transfers right now. Moving on from them, Manchester City doing business again. Matheus Nunes hurt me in my heart when I say that he's going to City, because obviously he was linked with Liverpool long before he went to Wolves. We lost him out to Wolves, and we were linked to him again, and now we've lost him out to Manchester City. Brilliant player, high up in value. I just believe that Wolves, the coaching staffs that have been appointed at Wolves, have just not been able to unlock his potential. He's a ball carrier, and they have not allowed him to that. He played so many different positions across the football field. I've seen him on right wing. I've seen him at right back. I've seen him in a deep midfield role. I've seen him in a high midfield role. I've almost damn near seen him as a striker. And he has never nailed down a consistent position, so I can't understand, for the love of Christ, why anybody would expect consistent performances out of him, because you've not been consistent in how you've treated him. Now, in other news, because there's not much, this will actually parlay into the next segment, which is Chelsea Football Club. But Manchester City outgoing Palmer to Chelsea, I believe, what a coup for Chelsea. I know they don't need any more midfielders, but Palmer is such a brilliant player. Very, 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 very high upside. Which is why, obviously, the reports are saying that City have decided to put in multiplicity of different clauses. I'm going to presume that's a first right of refusal buyback clause, as well as a sell-on clause for them, because it's looking that he is one of the more talented English players, and very much a la a Sancho, a Phil Foden coming out of that academy. Your Lewis at right back for City. I'm sure at some point they will look again at Palmer as a possible buy back. Chelsea have done very well in terms of cooping him, as well as the offloading on loan of Romelu Lukaku to Roma, reunited with Jose Mourinho. What a welcome by the Roma fans. I really just have to say that. I know we're a Premier League podcast, but Jesus, you just have to love how they welcome Dybala and Lukaku and Gini Wijnaldum. The passion is there. It's just the purest part of football fandom. Want to say congrats also to Sosias. Congrats to Enzo finally scoring for Chelsea Football Club against AFC Wimbledon. Real notch on your belt, you bum. Should have chose Liverpool. Now, moving on. Well, before we move on from Chelsea, a bit of criticism that they haven't gone out and gotten a striker. They do have a couple of days left. Todd Bowley is a man that has a tendency to work relatively quickly. I know they have Nkunku on injury. I know that Jackson is there. I still would have liked to see them go out and get, like, for example, Dusan Vlahovic, which Juventus desperately needs the money. And for all the money they've been splashing, I just thought that they would have prioritized a striker. And I believe that ultimately that's going to be their downfall this season. Now we can move on. Arsenal. Not much out of the Arsenal camp outside of Florian Balogun going to Monaco. I believe that they have made the wrong choice. His upside is way higher than Eddie Nketiah. And I would have cashed in on Nketiah at West Ham and kept Balogun. But, you know, Arteta and his preferences. Is there any other major news for Arsenal? No. I heard that they were going in for a right back, but nothing, quite quiet on their front. Kroenke is not a man to spend, like, again, after splashing the cash already. He's kind of setting his way in that squad right now. And yeah, that is about it for our top 6 transfer update. If there's anything breaking, please check my shorts. My shorts, I'm going to try and release one once every day. And we're going to try and be consistent from here on in regarding how regularized we update those shorts, especially with the transfer period and coming into deadline day. Because obviously, being that I'm a startup YouTube, I can't do this all day. I have to keep my day job until you guys follow me enough that I can make this digital content creation or YouTube podcast my mainstay income. So please work on that. Like, share, subscribe. You know what it is, right? All right, guys. That's my update for right now. And you guys have a good one. Adios.